An ordinary day in the park, but this is no ordinary family.
Then Grandma goes in the middle then.
I go in the middle, that might be better.
Millie, May and Megan now live with their grandparents. Their mum died 2 years ago from something the family think could have been avoided. Claire died of cervical cancer aged just 23, but Michelle and her husband Clive believe she would have lived if the age limit for cervical screening had been lower, and that's why they're campaigning. Up until 8 years ago, smear tests were done from age 20 in England, but the government raised the age to 25 because experts said testing younger women might actually do more harm than good.
You little chicken pie.
When Claire was refused a test, the family had no idea how drastically their lives would change.
When she went into labour with Millie, she was in labour for 3 days, and the hospital sent her home twice because the cervix hadn't dilated. And the third time she went in, they forced the cervix away from the drugs. Things seemed to settle down, then the bleeding started really heavy again, and the pelvic pain and the back pain, and she went back to her GPs, and they referred her to kidney specialists, and the kidney specialist said it's a gynaecologist you need to see, and but you need to see one urgently. And they took one look at her and had her in the theatre the next day, and they found an 8 cm tumour on her cervix, and we had to wait a week for results, just confirm that it was cervical cancer.
Claire had a series of operations but died a year later with a last wish that others shouldn't go through the same ordeal.
Excuse me, take a minute to sign petition. We'll try and get the age of cervical screening lowered.
Me and Claire had always talked about doing something together. It was always like, when I'm better mum, when I'm better mum. And when she found out she was dying, she said, would you do it, mum? Do it. I don't want any other families going through what we've gone through, and no other children going through what my girls have got to go through. She promised me, you'll do something. I said, of course, I promise I'll do something. But she died in the August, and I didn't feel as if I could do anything straight away, so we left it, and it was January 2010. One day I go, right, I said, today we're going to start something. And I just contacted the Evening Sentinel, and they put Claire's story in the paper, and just it all started from there. That first campaign down in Newcastle, and that first time I started, that was it then. I got, I had to do it, and that's how I felt like I was since. The passion for it gets stronger and stronger each time we go out, and some of the people you meet and some of the stories you hear, you think, you're not on your own here.
It picked up with a smear and had to have laser treatment, so I know how important it is.
Michelle and Clive and a team of family and friends collected more than 20,000 signatures around Staffordshire in just 6 months. But after handing the petition into Downing Street, nothing happened. They're determined to keep campaigning until changes are made and believe it will save lives.
I'd say 100% she'll still be here today if she'd been given that first smear. There's so many young girls that are having babies now at 16 or even under, and they're getting 9 or 10 years without having checks. And someone could have time bombs ticking away inside, and you don't know. And like Claire never had a smear. But some of them are coming 25 now, and there's one young girl recently, she had her first smear at 25, she was dead 7 months later, because the cancer spread that far, and they didn't know.
The Department of Health say the age was raised for 2 reasons. There was a high number of false positives in younger women which caused a risk of unnecessary treatment, and those reasons also caused anxiety and stress. Cervical cancer is very rare in younger women, with fewer than 10 dying of the disease each year in the UK. But this year, 75% of GPs said they thought the age should still be at 20.
There's a lot of statistical evidence which seems to indicate that it doesn't make any difference. It's all possibilities, nothing's been proven. But what I look at, it just comes down to pure common sense. I mean, a smear test works. Nobody disputes a smear test works. That's why they do it. It's extremely positive, and people rave about how effective it is in discovering all these pre-cancers and saving people's lives. And yet, for some reason, if you're under 25, it's a waste of time. It doesn't work.
Michelle works in payroll and Clive is an accountant, so they dedicate their spare time to the campaign, which has this year become more widespread across the UK and attracted the attention of national media. making them all the more determined to change the legislation set by the Department of Health.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And to me, it's murder. They've got blood on their hands, and my daughter's blood is one of the bloods, and it's just a ridiculous decision. I think it was just to save money. The smear cost just over £60. £60 for a life is nothing. I think the girls should be given a choice. I mean, at the moment, I think they're being discriminated because you can't have a smear and you're too old for the HPV vaccine.
To give young girls under 25 a chance to have a smear.
15 onwards.
Oh, it should be, yeah. I mean, I say as soon as they're sexually active, but...
We've got to stay positive and we've got to keep banging on the door. But practically, we're asking people to admit they've made a pretty big mistake. And if they do that, they admit that they've contributed to the deaths of a lot of women. So we're fighting against a brick wall. But if we get enough publicity and enough people shouting this, then eventually people have to step back and say, well, maybe we did make a mistake, or get somebody else to review it.
Not too fast, Meg. Oh, you're going to...
They keep us going, the girls keep us going. I mean, if I think it wasn't for the girls, I don't know what life would be like, actually. Meg has her bad days and her good days, but she just shrugs her shoulder and gets on with things, you know. Then again, I catch her on a lot of crying. So I got water eyes, she said, I'm fine. So it's a struggle some days, but we get through it.
Tune into our radio programme this week to find out more when we talk to the chairman of the committee who made that decision and a well-known GP who's fighting against it.